I love it when tourists come to my country. Oh my God,
Thank you very much.
my country is wonderful. Thanks.
Friend,
All tourists, welcome to my country. Welcome. Thank you.
friend.
I love tourists.
We continued traveling through Syria this morning. We started at around 10, driving from Aleppo to Hama. We spent a couple of hours there, and now we came here to Hosem, which in Spanish is like the strong one or the ace of the knights. That's the name of this fortress behind me. It has an incredible historical importance, which I will tell you about as we go through it. This place was built in 1142 by the Hospitaller Knights of the Crusades. Later, in 1271, it was conquered and then demolished, destroyed by the Mamluks. And the thing is, every new civilization that arrived at a place wanted to leave its mark and try to erase the traces of the past. But again, in 1948, if I'm not mistaken, it was restored by the French, and today it is well set up for tourism. This place was of great importance in ancient times because it was located between the Mediterranean Sea and, well, what is now the capital of Syria, Damascus. So it was like a crossing point for all the Crusades. Additionally, at that time, Jordan, Israel, Syria, and Lebanon were considered the Holy Land. And this place was like a symbol, a presence of theirs in the midst of all the Crusades, right? It amazes me that I might be the only tourist here. If we turn 360 degrees, I'm completely alone. And well, it's true that Syria has been through a lot, but it's already been 4 months since its liberation from the previous regime. Additionally, it's a really good time. It's quite cool. In fact, after 3 or 4 in the afternoon, I have to put on a sweater because the cold hits. Another thing that really impresses me about this place is how green it is, not just because of the forest that has overtaken the castle or the fort, but also the surroundings. We came to a slightly more mountainous region, unlike everything we visited in the first 4 days in this country, which was more desert-like and yes, arid. This was the most important hall, called the Hall of Knights. This is where meetings were held. Vital for the functioning of this fort, for preparing all the attacks, and above all, for protecting against enemies who came. It had an outer ring, and this part is located inside the inner ring. There are quite a few layers of security to prevent invaders from getting here, from coming this way. The kitchen where they cut the vegetables, deboned the chicken, well, they prepared everything for baking. Then over here is the oven, and look how huge that oven is. I don't know if you've had the chance to see, well, Arabic ovens, but all of that. In the back, it was filled with fire, and they put the bread on the edges. It would cook, but what a huge oven. I'm going to see if I can put the camera over there and sit down so you can see the size of this place. And well, here we have bread dough in the oven of El Castillo de los Kraks de los Caballeros. Impressive, right? That's actually its original name in French, Krak de Chevaliers or something like that. Sorry about my pronunciation, it's a bit, well, not good at all. I mean, a total disaster. But anyway, let's keep exploring this place from the outside. And now, from the top of the castle, you can see the outer security ring and all the greenery around it. It's impressive. But I think this is the first time I haven't seen that much destruction in Syria, neither because of the earthquakes nor because of the civil wars. This place is more agricultural. You can tell it's farther away from the major cities, and so I don't know if it was as destroyed as the rest of the country. And tell me, who isn't intrigued by these secret passages that look like mazes? Over here, well, you can tell they probably brought in cannons, or what kind of weapons did they use back then? Look, more little stairs, but let's keep going down this hallway to see where we end up. Juanes would say, and I ask God that if I die, let it be from love. I would say, I ask God to never take you away from me. This adventurous, exploratory spirit, because it truly has taken me to incredible places I never even imagined. And this is proof of that. Look at how beautiful the views are, how amazing this fortress is, how nice it is to explore a bit of my roots, because yes, I do have, even if it's just like 5% Syrian blood. Look at this detail I'm noticing. The water tanks on the houses are all red. Very few are blue. Most of them are red. Could it be that this was imposed by the previous government? Like the red color of the flag, just like all the businesses, they had to have the Syrian flag, and even today, they still have to have the new one. In fact, there is a deadline to change the old flag to the new one. Last night, while walking through the streets of Aleppo, we saw a man painting the Saint Mary of his business green. The change in the top stripe is not so drastic since the middle and bottom stripes remain the same, white and black. The only thing is that you have to add one more star in the south and, well, the top part. That way you remove the color red from the history of Syria. And the highest place in this castle is the king's daughter's tower. Let's explore it together and see what's inside. What's inside? This little door tells me no, but over here there are some pretty narrow stairs. Oh my God, you won't believe this, but I suffer a bit from claustrophobia. I think ever since I was a kid, I had an episode with some friends while playing at home, and they kind of jumped on me and locked me inside a sleeping bag. Neighborhood games. And since that moment, when I'm in such close spaces, I get like thump, 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 like tachycardia. Ah, how beautiful. How beautiful. Ah. And now at the very top of Dels Cracks de Chevaliers, one of the things I like as a tourist in Syria, and well, also like a local, is that I can wear shorts and a t-shirt to walk around. No problem at all. For those who watched the Iran series, the country I shared with you before coming to Syria, there, not even male tourists can wear shorts, and of course, women have to be covered. Although nowadays, there has been a bit of rebellion, at least with the use of the hijab, but no skirts or shorts. Forget about that here in Syria though, it's possible. I came at a time when it's really cold, really windy, and honestly, it makes me want to wear long pants and long sleeve shirts. But I wear this out of rebellion because I say I can. I come from a country where I couldn't. For a week.
All my clothes are dirty, I haven't done laundry and only have shorts left. What will I do?
Take advantage while I can and endure the cold as if it wasn't cold. The breeze is really strong. And if you come, no, don't do this kind of stupid thing. Don't disrespect yourselves. Here you can see the little stairs I climbed up. It literally gets smaller, and if your foot slips, well. Oh!
We did it? Okay, that's it.
And when I tell you that it seems like the war or the earthquake never reached this place, it really is. In fact, it's one of the best preserved medieval fortresses in the world.
That's why, because of its historical importance, not only in Syria but in the history of humanity, it was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 2006.
And it's really, really good, honestly. Nothing to complain about except for maybe a cigarette box or two lying around.
But what more can you ask from these Syrians who smoke in the car, smoke in hotels, smoke in restaurants, smoke in the bathroom, I think the mosque is the only place where they don't smoke. Other than that, I think they would even smoke on airplanes. It's crazy, really crazy, all the people who smoke here. Not just in Syria, but in most Middle Eastern countries.
But such an impressive place. And even their river was there so the king could take the queen for a canoe ride, or so they could get water for the fortress.
multiple uses.
This was the stable, and I swear it still smells like horses. How many centuries after a horse leaves a stable will it take for its smell to go away? They should make perfumes with the scent of horses. That way we would always be remembered by Our Lady. We moved a little away from the palace to get this panoramic view, and look how beautiful it is. Imagine being the king's son or the king himself. Well, no, not the king, because that's too many worries. Honestly, nothing to envy about being a medieval king. It's true that he could be the highest authority, the most idolized figure by the people, but also had too much work. A lot to worry about. Maybe he couldn't even sleep peacefully thinking they were going to be conquered. What do you guys think? Would you have liked to be part of a royal family or even a king or queen in medieval times? We left the fortress on the other side of the mountain to come to a monastery. And look how beautiful this place is. It's called the Monastery of St. George Christian, of course, and it dates back to the 6th century. What a beautiful place. I mean, the peace, the silence, it's incredible. Besides the location, the amount of greenery, the mountains all around, I think it's wonderful. This place is located in the Valley of the Christians, and the little village is called Al-Mishtaya, like the Homs region, still in Syria. And it's interesting because it's mostly Christian. There are 32 small villages in this region, and 27 of them are Christian. And this is a Greek Orthodox monastery. Well, I've only seen a little of what I've been able to record for you, but I think it's a wonderful place. This monastery was founded in the 5th century, possibly during the reign of the Byzantine Emperor Justinian III, and it is believed that it was built on the ruins of an ancient pagan temple dedicated to the god Homer. The complex covers 6,000 square meters, and it was restored in 1857, so it's very, very well preserved. Honestly, it's a place I highly recommend visiting. Another side of Syria that I hadn't had the chance to discover. Not only because its surroundings are in spectacular green valleys, but also because of the peace you feel here. Because the ravages of destruction that the country has had to endure in recent decades aren't as present here. And look at what I'm telling you, just stepping out of the monastery, there's green all around you, a full 360 degrees. There's part of the little village, and the rest, well, it's the monastery and mountains, mountains, and more mountains. Doing a bit more research, I read that out of the 32 villages I mentioned, the remaining 5 are Muslim. But out of those 5, 4 are Alawites and 1 is Sunni. I've already mentioned that, well, Sunni is the branch of Islam that is most present around the world, with about 80 to 85%, and the other 15% are Shiites. However, within the Shiites, there are different branches or offshoots, some of which are not even recognized by the Shiites themselves as part of Islam. Among them are the Alawites. They believe that Ali, who was the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, manifests himself through a divinity. He is one of the most important figures, if not the most important, in Islam. But they also have some Christian beliefs, some agnostic ones, and others from Orthodox Islam.
For example, some celebrate Christmas or Epiphany like Christians do. Others don't fast during Ramadan, for example. And the craziest thing is that they're like a sect you can't convert to. You have to have been initiated among the Alawites. That is, if you're 20 years old and you're Shia or Sunni and you want to be Halaguita, you can't. You have to have been born into a Halaguita family. They only share their knowledge within this community. And for years, they've been persecuted, and at the same time, they've faced many difficulties. There are sectarian differences, and that's why many wars and repressions have occurred. In fact, the old family that was in power, meaning Bashar al-Assad and Hafez al-Assad, his father, were Alawites. So maybe all that resentment they had against the rest of the Muslims, both in Syria and in the surrounding countries, made them make such reckless and crazy decisions based on their beliefs, their religion, I don't know. And they ended up, well, destroying such a beautiful and important country in the Middle East. We just made a stop in the middle of the road to buy gasoline because that's another product that's scarce in this country. And when I asked a bit about why there was no gasoline in Syria, they told me that even though it's an oil-producing country, most of the oil wells are in the northeast of the country, and that territory is occupied by the Kurds. I had already mentioned it in the Iraq video. The Kurds are a completely different ethnic group. They're not even Arabs. They have their own language. And although, yes, they are Muslims, they have their own very distinct practices and traditions. In fact, well, in ancient times, they were, like everyone else, part of the Ottoman Empire. And after World War I, they weren't assigned a state. And now they are spread out among Syria, Lebanon, Turkey, and Iraq. I find it striking, travelers, the number of conflicts this country has had with sectarian minorities and different ethnic groups. I mean, I already told you a while ago about the former president and his family who were Alawite, and, well, all the problems that could have arisen because of religious differences. Also, the day I arrived near the government palace, there was a bombing by Israel, defending the Druze, who are another religious minority within the country. And as if that wasn't enough, now they also have differences or problems with the Kurds, who are the ones administering the areas where there is oil in the country, and they have to buy it from them. From Lebanon, as you can see here, in almost all the regions in the center of the country, not the main cities obviously, but I've seen a lot of gasoline, even since I was crossing the border. And there you have the reason why you can't find it at regular gas stations. 1 liter, $1 in the middle of the highway, in the middle of the road here in Syria. Thank you. After driving for about 3 hours from Al-Mishtaya, where we were, we came to Palmyra, one of the most spectacular towns, and in the past it lived off tourism here in Syria. It's impressive how at the entrance to the castle you find all these barricades filled with stone and sand, I imagine to stop bullets during clashes. These were the guards, as you can see. Wow! And it's because this castle was occupied by the Russians during the civil war in 2011. That's why you see so much protection here and then, well, so much abandonment. Because after the fall of al-Assad, everyone left the country, especially the Russians, and also the Iranians. I've seen several videos where the Iranian embassy is completely abandoned, and well, everyone who supported Iran and this regime left. Wow. They left. And to get to the castle, you have to cross that bridge.
I have to admit that this is the first time I've seen tourists during my entire trip to Syria, and there are Asians here in front of the Palmyra castle. And actually, no, I'm lying to you. In ancient times, this city, well, 15 years ago, lived purely from tourism. Nowadays, that's no longer the case. But it's crazy that the only tourists I've seen in 7 days in Syria have been here in Palmyra. And if we go back a few millennia, Palmyra was a very important city on the Silk Road because it connected the entire Roman Empire with the Persians, the Indians, and even the Chinese. So all the caravans would stop here, mainly to stock up on water, eat, rest, and continue on their route. Between the 1st and 3rd centuries AD, it was a cosmopolitan and very, very prosperous city. In fact, Queen Zenobia is part of history, as she was very rebellious and tried to rebel against the Roman Empire. And she conquered Egypt and Anatolia. And then, well, the Romans sent several armies and ended up overthrowing her. But her legacy remained here in Palmyra, written forever. Look at these granite columns. We went down the hill and arrived at the monumental colonnade, which stretches for 1.2 kilometers and is lined with nothing but columns. And there are some that specifically catch my attention because they're made of granite. I already told you that Queen Zenobia conquered Egypt, so they brought the granite from Aswan. They maintained, well, very close commercial relations between Palmyra and this city in Egypt, especially because she was very inspired by the work that Cleopatra had done. One of the reasons why this place is so well preserved. It's because it was buried under the sand of the Palmyra desert for practically 1,700 years until 1920, when the French arrived here after the First World War and they started the excavations and they found this marvel. And well, they continued until 2010. Then during the Civil War, everyone left this place, even many parts that were better preserved. They were destroyed by ISIS, which occupied this area between 2015 and 2017. As if the Russians weren't enough, there was also ISIS. This is one of the greatest examples of destruction by these extremist Islamic groups. This facade used to be completely perfect. I'm now standing where the amphitheater used to be. Look how beautiful this place is. Salam alaikum. Everything here is so beautiful. But here, well, you can't see any more rubble. Mind you, a large part of the structure is still standing. But just imagine, this place was absolutely perfect, withstanding the passage of years. So they can come, an extremist group to destroy it. And this you see here was the Agora, or the central plaza of Palmyra, all surrounded by columns. A curious fact is that right there in the back, there are texts written on the rock in Greek and in Palmyrene. That means in this town, already in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd centuries after Christ, they were bilingual. And there are many places in this entire archaeological area that can't be visited because there are still landmines on the ground. So this is like the safe zone.
If you saw the videos from Iraq, especially the ones from Mosul, you might have seen houses and spaces where the American government would write safe. They said they'd already cleared that area after passing through this city. But here, like, they drove ISIS out. Like in 2017, they didn't leave like a map or anything like that. Not even the Russians who were there. Nor did Bashar al-Assad's government have a map of where the mines were. So, they're still kind of waiting for help from some experts in removing mines, so they can open the full archaeological area to the public. We end this archaeological tour at the Temple of Bel, the largest one between the 1st and 3rd centuries after Christ of its kind. Made in honor of the god Bel, everything you see destroyed again by ISIS. It was like the prayer hall right in the center of the temple. Unlike the colonnade, the Temple of Bel was not buried until the arrival of the French. In fact, it was used as a hotel for the Bedouins. However, when the French arrived, they displaced everyone and took away, let's say, this modern function that it had, to preserve it as an archaeological site and begin restorations. But then in 2016, it was all destroyed. Hello, my friend. All right.
All right. All right. All right.
I don't buy priests.
Oosh.
No, I'm not buying things. You're welcome.
Nice. Hi, pretty and cheap friends.
Good, nice, cheap.
This is Hueso Camelo.
Hueso Camelo. How do you know Spanish?
Tourist?
Before?
When I was young, I worked as a tourist.
When the tourists stopped coming.
About before. It's been 15 years, okay. But now we come. Every day, again, group to group, we come, okay.
Okay.
Every day we have tourists.
How many people every day? Every day?
Today, 50 people came.
50, wow. Wow, that's a lot. 2, 3, 3, wow, all the time. I'm very grateful for that, my friend.
Thank you very much. I love the tourists who come to my country.
My God, thank you so much.
Very country, very good.
Yes, thank you.
You are welcome in my country. You are welcome.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
The tourists?
Thank you, my friend.
You are welcome. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you.
How beautiful, really.
How beautiful. And hopefully this country will flourish again and tourists will be able to come, feel safe, and explore a bit of Syria. Both its cuisine, which is spectacular, and, well, its archaeological sites and its nature. And help to rebuild it, because what is most needed right now is money to be able to restore everything that is practically destroyed.
This is my store.
Okay.
This is my store for tourists.
Incredible. I work.
With tourists when I was young. Okay.
Okay.
This is a bag. It's handmade by my mother. She makes it.
Oh my God.
So I sold it for tourism.
Okay, that's just that.
Is it bad?
God bless your grandmother. God bless your grandmother.
Hello, something new from me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Something from me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you from...
Old times.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Virgin Mary.
You need one?
I'm not well, my friend. Tell the tourists from your country that there's no problem with my shop or the temple. Camel, oh meat, no problem. Camel, lamb, cordero, hello, or lamb.
Uh-huh.
Good.
Here, excellent.
Or you already nailed it. Yes, that's it.
Bye.
Let them feel it. Very good, very good. Wow, wow. Oh.
Cordero. Lamba.
No.
Head, yes, yes. Oh.
A small portion of rice. Wow. Look how they put some coals in the middle.
To smoke it. To smoke the rice. Wow, smoke the rice. To give it a bit of flavor.
That must taste divine. My mouth is already watering. Look, when you arrive at any place, they offer you a little bit of coffee. They serve it to you like a shot. A little welcome coffee.
Thank you. With cardamom.
It has a pretty strong flavor.
But I like it.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Okay, try the rice. Let's see how the rice is. Subscribe. How is it? Very good. More flavor. Shawarma, shawarma, shawarma. Yes, yes. Of course, it's something typical. No more dude, more shawarma, shawarma. Here, here. Look, look, look. Of course, obviously. The spoon straight from the ladle, which comes from the rice, of course.
Oh, look at the beauty of this place. You take off your shoes and look how spectacular it is. You sit there to eat, and I was left wanting to eat a whole plate of food. At least I was able to try it to record the video for you. And it was very, very tasty, but well, they took too long.
An hour and a bit went by, and they still hadn't even brought a little salad, so we decided to leave.
So now we have a long journey to Damascus ahead of us, and we stopped to eat at another place.
Wow.
Look at this super machine gun on top of a tundra.
That's crazy. There is something I should clarify, and that's the kindness of the police officers.
People here are armed to the teeth, and at any fortress, checkpoint, or control point, they still smile at you, bless you, let you take pictures of them, and record videos. And honestly, you can really tell that they want to protect the people, especially the tourists.
Specifically in this city, Palmyra, which is one of the most visited, or used to be one of the most visited in Syria.
And they're trying to get people to come back. But honestly, in the 7 days I've been in the country, my experience with the police, the army, and well, all the security forces deployed in the streets has been incredible, incredible. And that's something to be grateful for.
Travelers, we're going to end today's video here. We visited fortresses like Krak the Chevaliers, the Monastery of St. George, and the majestic ruins of Palmyra. We talked about the religious divisions within Islam, Shia, Alawite, Sunni, Druze, among others, and how those differences have fueled decades of conflict. But we also saw the other side of Syria, the kindness of its people, their cultural pride, and that great desire to welcome tourists again. In the next episode, we will take a significant turn toward the darkest and saddest part of this nation. We are going to visit Saidnaya, the most feared prison in the country, known as the Human Slaughterhouse. A place where, according to international reports, thousands of people were tortured, executed, or simply disappeared. We will explore its history, its role within the Syrian repressive apparatus, and what it represents for the victims and their families.
We will also talk to people who lived during that time, including those who were imprisoned in this place, and we will see how fear is still alive, even though the conflict is no longer in the headlines.
This is going to be the rawest, most difficult episode, but it's necessary to understand the full complexity of this country. So subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you very soon in the next episode of this series across Syria.